Hi everyone, good morning. Today for my John Maxwell and spiritual direction, I'm looking at Proverbs 11:1. God hates cheating in the marketplace. He loves it when business is above board. So the question for today is, would you consider yourself a whole person? Or do you consider yourself a wounded person, a half person, a person that is not whole in the Lord? Because for us, Jesus has healed us. We are whole in the Lord. We are not people who are living duplicitous lives. We don't have to fear because everything that we do is above board. In today's marketplace, the employees are not treated like human beings. We treat it like cattle. We treat it like slaves. We treat it like we are products to be put on the market. And they have lost their humanity, because even when they know that, like with me, you have health problems, you can't work overnight, you've provided doctor's notes, they don't accommodate you. And they tell you that, oh, we don't have anything, so there's nothing suitable for you. And that's just a cop-out, because there are always positions coming up that are available where they could use your skills in big companies, whether it's in project management or it's in leading teams, being a coach, being a trainer, being a speaker. There are always opportunities. That's what happened to me at Teleperformance. And when I used to report things, people wouldn't tell the truth. They would take me and make me sit in the corner like a child, away from everyone. And then when these guys who caused the problem, when they were finishing and they found their new opportunities at BMO and other places, then they would go to HR and say, I'm sorry, I made a mistake, Belinda is good. So this is a cycle in Canada, and it's not just happening to me. It's happening to millions of us, and we are getting hurt. It's causing problems with our health. It's causing problems for our communities, because these guys then go on to lead big projects, lead big teams, and rest assured what they've done once, they will do again. But companies keep rewarding them, keep promoting them, keep giving them the best jobs. So how do they expect anything to change? Because they question my integrity, they question what I am saying, they question what I am doing, when I'm the one that's good, and I'm the one that's telling them the truth. It's unacceptable, because I'm the one that gets the written warnings, I'm the one that gets told, don't raise your voice to the customer. But the customer can treat me like shit, right? Because they're paying us. That is a very slave-like attitude. It is not acceptable. In this day and age, it should not be happening. So with people of integrity, we need to remind ourselves we have nothing to fear. There's that indigenous story about the two wolves, where the grandfather's teaching his child and saying there are two wolves within us. One is good and one is evil. And the one that you feed is the one that will thrive. It's the one that will survive. Unfortunately, in our companies today, in our communities, in our churches, they're feeding what is bad. They're feeding the wrong people, and people like me are getting hurt. There's a lot of people that come to my parish now that went to university with me, that went to Regis with me. This is not their parish, but they came and they made friends with Father Larry, and now they're reading at Mass, they're in the leadership position. So I step back, because I'm like, you know what, I've been with Father Larry since 2007, and any little thing I do wrong, they come down on me. So I stopped going, because if you can't treat me with respect, if you can't make accommodations for me, if you can't show some sympathy and empathy when I need it, I'm not going to give you my time, my voice. I'm not going to read at Mass. I'm not going to do anything for you. I'm not going to carry that lamp when they go out on demonstrations. I'm not going to protest for the church. Why should I? Because when push comes to shove, the church is not helping me. They're not helping my mom and I with financial gifts. They're not putting us forward to get that financial aid which is available through the platforms in the church, through the One campaign, through the initiatives that they have. They're not helping me. But they'll call me when they want people to serve at their black tie events, when they want people to help them. Well, guess what? I'm not doing it for the sake of it. I also want the benefits to come back to me. I want to be able to have that financial support. And I don't mind if I have to put the RBC logo on my spiritual direction talks or the TD logo. But every time I go and I look at the platforms, TD is supporting all the things in the US. So what about the communities in Canada? If you go on their website and you try to apply for any financial grants, all those things are geared to the US. So why are they focusing on the US when there are people here, there are families here that need help like me? They have programs to help people build up their community initiatives that is benefiting the underprivileged, that is helping other people. So why is it always for somebody else? What about me? I'm not doing this to benefit my cousins, to benefit my sister, to benefit my brother. I'm doing it to benefit myself first, and then to benefit others. I'm not doing it to kill my body, kill my mind, kill my spirit, and watch everybody thrive and be happy. I'm not here to make everybody happy, and I'm not a people pleaser. And if you don't like it, that's too bad, because that's what leadership is about. In Psalm 46:1, it tells us God is our refuge and our strength, always ready to help in times of trouble. So the questions for today are these. Are you people pleasing? Are you wanting to make people happy? And to what expense or to what extent? There are 3 questions that we can ask ourselves. What is best for you? What is best for the organization? What is best for other people in the organization? What the companies are doing to me is not good for me, is not good for their organizations, and it's not good for other people in the organizations. Because what will benefit me and help me, now that I have this stupid disability, will also help others. They claim, like RBC, TD, Teleperformance, they claim to be companies that support people with disabilities. They claim to be companies that are interested in social corporate responsibility. They claim to be people that promote people from disadvantaged backgrounds and help them financially, help them with their education, help them when there's a family in need. They have not done any of that for me. And I have done a lot for them. It was the same thing with the One campaign. I understand they had a deadline. They gave all of us the deadline. And they said, if you want to come to the G7, you have to be there. You have to give us your confirmation by this date. So I told him, I don't think it's going to be possible because I don't have money, I don't have an income, I don't have work. But when I had it available, I told him, I can come now. If you can book the ticket for me and the accommodation, which was not even at a hotel. It was on campus. It was at the university. They said, no, it's not fair to the rest of the team and it's going to cost too much money. So I walked with my feet. Because if you cannot make an exception for somebody like me, who has given you years of my life, who has guided others, who has trained others, who has taken issues to Bono directly through his social media, through the church, who has helped your organization get funding for your initiatives. And you cannot help me and my mom when we ask for help. And on top of that, you refuse to book a ticket for me to come to the G7, where all the ministers know me, the Prime Minister knows me, all the politicians know me. So it would have been in your favor to fork out that little bit of extra money, to put in that little bit of extra time, and you're refusing. I'm just going to say, fine. Okay, that's fine. because you are not thinking through what are the long-term consequences for you. You're only thinking about that extra little bit of time that your team has to take to book a ticket for me and to get the accommodation sorted for me. So in the long run, why should I join you? Najiba keeps sending me all those emails. Oh, join us for another year. Why should I? What's in it for me? You refuse to help me to come to your events. You refuse to help me and my mom with a little bit of financial help so that I can get back on my feet. And you claim that, oh, you're interested in ministers, you're interested in people who are promoting good values, you're interested in people like me, but you're not willing to give me the funding. And my life, my work is benefiting people who would not otherwise have access to spiritual direction, to teachings on theology, to accessing big conferences. Even I can't afford to go to the John Maxwell. I have been part of John Maxwell since I joined Teleperformance in 2018. I can't afford those conferences because they're too expensive for me. Because I don't have that kind of money coming in that I should have with my skills, with my education, with what I've done for Father Larry at Blessed Sacrament, what I've done for Regis College, St. Michael's College, U of T. I'm not earning anywhere near what I should be. People think, oh, you're a spiritual director, so you should earn little. Who told you that? Spiritual directors earn well. Anne-Marie Pauline Campbell and Francis Carrera, who work with the Jesuits in South Africa, they have their own properties. They have their own cars. So I came here for a better life, and I'm living in a small, tiny place. I mean, it doesn't make sense to me what the Catholic Church is doing to me, what Father Larry is doing to me, what Teleperformance is doing to me. It doesn't make sense because you're killing the golden goose. I am the best there is. And I know it. And Father Larry's told me many, many times, I like the way you read in the church. I like the passion. I like how you do things. So now all of a sudden, it's a big issue that I made a mistake on the altar and I was removed from the reading schedule. It's not fair to me, and it's discrimination. I want Bono to step up. I want him to make the funding available for me, for my spiritual direction work, for what I want to do, for what I want to accomplish. He insulted me. He took Ndidi to his Freedom Medal ceremony, and then he's telling me I took responsibility after he's telling all his team he loves me. You must be kidding. What does that even mean? You took responsibility. You didn't do anything for me. You didn't invite me to any big event with the President of America or the Prime Ministers or the Pope. You didn't do anything for me, so what does that mean? You took responsibility. The church needs to step up. I'm not joking about my financial situation, and I'm not joking about what I'm doing. I am already doing it. I am doing it. My videos are on YouTube, they're on Facebook, they're on social media, they're on LinkedIn. If I get funding from the banks and they want me to put a marketing piece or say that I'm thankful for the sponsorship, of course I'll do that for them. Because this work is important work. I'm trained to do it. They're telling me they're crying out for people. So if they're crying out for people, why aren't they getting me into those jobs that pay well in the church, in the ministries, in education? Why aren't they doing it? But when they want me to do the work, then they know where I am. Maria took me off the reading schedule. I told her that's fine. She says, I want to find something less stressful for you. I said to her, I don't need anything less stressful. Everybody makes mistakes. Everybody messes up sometimes. Everybody has times where something comes up and they don't arrive exactly 15 minutes or 20 minutes before the Mass. All of a sudden, it's a big issue. They don't want to listen to me, so I left them. I'll do the Mass at home. I'll join in the Mass online. I'll do a spiritual communion, because you know what? My life also matters. The finances also matter to me. I also want to have sponsorships to go to things to meet the Pope. I also want to have that financial piece coming in so that I can go to the John Maxwell. You can't pour from an empty cup. You can't keep giving and giving and giving if there's nothing coming in. I also need to have an income. I need to have finances. I need people to respect me for the work I've done. That's why I left the One campaign. The director told me, Elaine said it's too much work, so I'm like, okay, that's fine. I don't go and make a big deal of it. I don't sue companies. I don't do any of that because it's not worth it, because they've got the lawyers, they've got the big bucks, they've got everything. They'll turn it around and put me in jail, so why should I? Why should I? I don't. I just say, okay, that's fine. I'll just leave you and I'll move on. I'll do something else. Because it's not worth it to me. The only reason I got a lawyer with Credit Suisse was because my doctor told me to do it. Dr. Ian told me they're not treating you right. And he told me that from the time I told him what was happening with me, he said, they're not treating you right. He said, this is discrimination. And he's an Asian doctor. I was with him for many, many, many years. I only had to change my doctor because he retired. So, Canada's a big, beautiful country. Canada has lots of opportunities. Doug Ford wants to bring in even more immigrants, more skilled workers. And what about those of us who are already here and we can't get jobs, and the home invasions, brazen shootings in daylight, and the stupidity of the police saying, don't fight back. Don't fight back, why? So they can kill us? So they can rape us? So they can take everything we worked so hard for? I don't listen to the police when it doesn't make sense. Go and stay in a separate room. If you're living in a one-bedroom house and there's no even key, there's no lock to lock that door, how is it going to help you to go and stay in a different room? The police need to think about what they're doing to us. What they're doing to me is wrong. All the companies, Teleperformance, TD, RBC, CIBC, they all did the same thing. All of them. It's not just about race, but race is a big part of it, and faith is a big part of it. If Father Larry is not prepared to stand up for me and tell people that I said no to Credit Suisse and that I don't like what's happening, I'm not going to just stand there and take it. I tell him. I say, I don't like that. If they like me, why did they take it to their lawyers? If they like me, why don't they respect my wishes to stop calling all my employers saying that, their VP was hoping to be friends with me? It's very disrespectful of all them executive men and women. It's very disrespectful, and they spoiled my reputation. Even in the church, they spoiled my reputation. They did it in front of my mother. My mother was crying. She said, Father Larry's telling everyone they said they like you. They spoiled your reputation. They didn't like me. And I told Father Larry, I said, I don't like it. I don't like it because I was the one who was forced to stand up to them. You promise people references and then you can't even give it to them. Those references mean a lot. They go a long way. It's discrimination. That's what it is. You think, you left behind Zimbabwe, you come in here, you can eat in the same restaurants, you can go to the same places. No, you can't, because they don't do it that way anymore. They do it by price point. That's how they do it. That's how they discriminate. So, I want things to change for me. I want the money to start coming in for me. I want people to respect what I've done. People delay and delay and delay, and then what they do, it's like when I go walking in the park, you see that, there's that bench there I want to sit on. So you see me coming to it, you walk slowly, and then when you think I'm going to come, then you go and sit there. That's what they do. That's what Waterloo University did. Come and, come, yes, we'll do everything. Come meet the university officials. I went there. I met Honorable Walter McLean. I met Jean Chrétien, and we had a good conversation about Zimbabwe, about Robert Mugabe, about what happened. And then they dropped me off very nicely at the station. I came home nicely. Then they said, oh no, the lawyers have a problem. I said, so why didn't you sort everything out before you called me? You wasted my time. You called me there, you had me meet with these big shots, these big political leaders. You told me, don't worry, everything will be okay. And then now, after all that, and me liaising with Wits, setting up events, going to EY, now you're telling me, oh, now the lawyers don't want it. I mean, it's not fair to me. It's also my time, my life, my investment. It's not fair to me. You should have everything set up already. You should have the lawyers sorted out. You should have everything set up and then call me. Don't call me and then say, oh yeah, now we have to see how it goes. I'm not representing Wits for nothing. I stood up for my human rights from the time I was a child. I used to go to the pharmacy. They had a nice pharmacy in Kwekwe. And the whites used to like me. They used to tell my mother, send her to come work in the pharmacy. I worked with Mr. Hagerman at his studio, photography studio. They used to like me. I used to go and ask them. They used to say, my mother used to say, you can't go and ask them to participate in that ragtime. It's not for us. I said, oh, well, I want to participate. I'm going to go and ask them. And they used to say, yeah, come. You want to participate? Come. And I used to win. I used to decorate my bicycle. I used to make outfits. I used to win. First prize. So I stepped up for the people in Zimbabwe. I stepped up for the South Africans. I stepped up in this community. Why aren't they stepping up for me? Where's my good paid job? They need to step up. RBC, BMO, TD, all the companies I work for. I want to see a change in their attitudes. They think that people admire them. They don't admire them. They don't. Giving people 3-minute breaks to go to the washroom, laying off people because now even the clients are complaining about them. All their clients, Google, Sprint, they all pull their business from Teleperformance. But when I was there, when I was telling them, when Mohammed was telling them, Mohammed Shafi, they didn't want to listen. So it's good. They got sued for millions because of how they were treating their employees. They can't give me back my health. They can't give me back my reputation. I had to build it up again from nothing. I'm tired of it. Even this one campaign, I'm not going back. Why should I go and support Najiba when Najiba is the one getting all the invites to go all over the world, to meet Bono, to see all the executives? Why should I support her? I did the work. Why isn't Bono making a role for me? Why aren't they hiring me? I walked with my feet. I'm not going back to them. I'm not. Why should I? Why should I sign a contract with them? We never had to sign contracts in the past. Why should I sign a contract? You're volunteering. They're not paying you anything for what you're doing for them. They're using my voice. They're getting my time. They're getting it all for free. They don't even give you a stipend. We had to wait over 4 years to get new t-shirts. We used to ask them, can you send us some bags so we can use the tote bag? Can you send us some t-shirts? They didn't send anything. We had to wait. They were a headless chicken here for so long. I had to lead it for them. I did a lot and the volunteers know it. So when are they going to get me into a good paying job? It's not like I'm sitting back and not applying. I'm applying. I apply to a lot of jobs where I have the skills, I have the education. I apply for seed funding. I tell the church I need the help for me and my mom. Why aren't they giving it to us? I don't know how God's going to forgive them for what they've done to me, because I didn't deserve it, any of it.
They cover their own backsides. Even those guys that went and said sorry afterwards. Where's my job? You guys are working at BMO, at Uber Freight, at all these big companies. Where's my job? Don't lie to people and then afterwards say, oh, we didn't understand what you are saying. Rubbish. Was if he was standing outside in the cold when we were working there. If I didn't go and look for him, he would have frozen outside there. Because they had such bad security. Once you went out, you couldn't come back in. They didn't even set up our ID cards properly. It's rubbish. And even guests, when I invite guests, they're not going to come. They can't even pick up the phone and say, sorry, I'm not coming. They do the same thing to my sister. And then when you call them, they're like, oh my God, I forgot. So why don't you make a note of it? It's very disrespectful. Grow up.